If you want to see me use the Urban Decay Born to Run palette for the very first time, then stick around. Hi there, it's Hélène, and yes, we're going to play with this palette right now. If you want to see my swatches for this palette, I will put the video right here. It includes commentary about the colors, along with what I discovered about the palette as I was swatching it. I think it's a decent video, and I even go back to it to get another feel for the palette because it's been a while since the swatches. But I really do like most of the colors in here, and I think that most of them are approachable and very usable and very attractive to me. The only color that I'm meh about is actually Baja, and I think I did mention it during the swatches, but everything else looks pretty good. Now, along with this palette and a couple of other videos, I have had a little bit of a back and forth with Julie, hello Julie, about green eyeshadow. And I think that because of that, I am going to challenge myself to go right in here on this column, the last column of the palette. Good as Gone is not a big deal. A deep matte is all fine to me. And I think this is also going to be okay as long as it's on the outer lid. But I just wonder how this pairing, given I have green eyes, I don't know how it's going to work on my eyes. But we'll find out. Now, for everything on my face, because I'm obviously wearing some makeup already, you can go to the description box and see exactly what it is that I'm wearing. I will be putting on some blush and highlighter, which I don't have on yet, with a different palette that I'm also using for the first time beyond swatches. And I want to just do the eye look and then do my blush and lipstick and just see what the final result is. By the way, if you are curious about my nail polish, I will put the video right here. It's a very recent acquisition, and I'm pretty happy to have picked it up. It's looking pretty good, and yeah, we'll see how it wears. I am probably stalling at this point, so let's get into it. I will say that the first shadow that I have used is Weekender because I used it to set my eye primer, and my eye primer is just a couple of concealers from the Cover FX cream quad that I have. If you're curious about the associated project, which is Partners in Cream, I'll also put that video just for your ease of reference. If you're curious about that project, I would highly recommend taking a look at it. If you have products, cream products that you need to get some use out of, it's not too late to join that project. It is a year-long project. We have the bulk of the year still left in front of us, and it's really in my top 2 favorite penning projects of all time. It's so much fun, so good, and so satisfying. I will stop leaving you hanging and let's get into this palette. So the first thing I'm going to do is use Good as Gone. Yeah, Good as Gone. I'm going to do a very soft sweep of it on my crease, well, in my crease, outer lid, outer, maybe all the lower lash line, and just kind of build it up and see where we get to. And then we'll go from there. For that purpose, I'm going to use my trusty crease brush, and we're going to go right into Good as Gone. And I just tap very lightly because it is a matte, and let's go right in and see what happens. I'm going to tap first to set the product in place. And I love the mirror in here. It's really good. It's a full-size mirror, and I do really think, although we talk about travel way more than we actually travel, but it has, I did mention it in the swatches video, I think that it has such a good variety of colors, and the palette is very durable, and it has a full mirror. I mean, it is a good candidate for having as a palette on the go. Okay. These are relatively dry eyeshadows, but that is not unusual for Urban Decay, so it's something I was expecting. Let's go up on the brow bone here. That's looking pretty effortless. That's good. To go again, tapping where I want it to be deeper, and then using whatever's left on the brush higher up. If you see me ducking, there's a mirror just underneath you where I can get a better view. Because I look at the viewfinder and I see some patchiness here, but in real life it's not really there. So, Anyway, whatever's left on the brush, I'm going to go on the very, very inner upper lid. Well, overall lid, upper lid. Okay, now I have a weird hair here. There we go. Lost a hair on this crease brush. I use it so much. I mean, I'm surprised it's lasted this long, to be quite frank. Okay, I want to take this. Have I put enough on? I'm going to go in one more time. I think I need just a bit more. I will deepen it up with a denser brush, but I just want to make sure that the sweep of color is sufficient. Okay, that's better. I'm going to go in with my angled brush and bring that color down. My typical angled brush and my typical way of doing eyeshadow. Stamping and sweeping and just connecting it all together. Somebody else on this channel who comments on a regular basis, Steph, has also done a few very green looks based on a Vice palette that she was working on. And so maybe that's part of the inspiration too. So hi, Steph. Okay, so we have, I think, enough. And I am, you know what, I'm going to finish one eye completely and then do the other eye in fast forward. So we'll just stay on the one eye and then I'll replicate it and then we'll talk about it. So just to be efficient. Still thinking there's a bit more needed here. See if I can do it with what's on the brush. Okay. I am going to, as I mentioned, with a denser shader brush, I'm going to emphasize that brown a little bit more. And this is the brush I'm talking about, so we're going to use this little guy, which is the Smashbox Full Coverage Shadow, and my crease brush and angled brush are two from the same set of Sephora. And you can see that the handle is kind of a tan beigey color. I don't think they sell it anymore, so I have no way of giving you more information on it. It's just a typical cheap set of 5 brushes. It's nothing fancy. The Smashbox ones are fancier brushes, but I waited until that thing was on clearance to get it. And it's quite a nice set. If you want to see that video, I'll put it there. It's been a while, but if you want to see everything in that Smashbox set, it's there. And all of those brushes, as far as I know, are still available on Smashbox, their company website. I don't know where else you could find them easily. My absolute favorite brush is from Smashbox. It's that Multitasker brush I'm always using, which you'll see a little bit later in this video. You know, this shadow could be a one and done look. I really, really quite like it. But nonetheless, we're going to go into the other colors. I want to go into Wanderlust next. So we're going to do that, and I think that I'm going to just clean off this dense brush and go in with that color. Okay, again, Wanderlust, and let's see what happens. It reminds me of a color that I really used to love from a set that I had for years before I really knew all that much about makeup. And it does really remind me of that, although it's a lot deeper than the one I'm thinking of. Going in again. And knowing me, I need to go higher up. So I'm going to do this. Every time I look at my videos after, I think, why didn't I go higher up? Or higher up into the crease. Okay, and I really quite like this color. I want to get a tighter line of that green on the bottom lid, but I don't want it to be too big. So let me find a very small brush to be able to do that the way I want to. I have never used this brush for that purpose, but this is the brush I'm going to use, and I think it's a Morphe brush. Yeah, it's a Morphe M149. And I'm just going to pick up product on one side and just see if I can get it really tight to the lashes. Okay, and I'm going to go back in with my angled brush and just take some of that off. Okay, that's looking all right. I think it connects it nicely top and bottom. And now I'm going to go into Big Sky, and on the inner third of the lid, I did put the jumbo pencil in Milk. I forgot to mention that earlier. And I left it tacky. So it should really help Big Sky stick and be quite bright. So we're going to try that. And for that, I'm going to use, you got it, my Multitasker brush, my favorite. Let's go get it. And here we go, the rock star of any look. Again, Multitasker brush from Smashbox. No, I am not sponsored. I just think it's the bomb. So we have some on the brush, and let's see what happens. So I'm always convinced that these colors with my eye color is not a great match. But like I said, the comment I saw recently, I thought, well, let me rediscover what kind of a greenish look looks like with my eye color. So we are going to just see how it goes. And also my hypothesis that the columns on this palette are meant to work together as trios. So here's some on my finger. I'm going to use my finger to intensify the shadow. I don't want to go too far into or toward the outer lid. I really want to keep it to halfway. I seem to be successful at that. And I don't really do this very often, but I want to take that color and carry it and link it to Wanderlust on the bottom. So we're going to take that same brush and add that color. Okay, so I have it on the brush. It's a little bit big for this area, but hopefully I won't regret it. And because of that, I'm going to go into the into the inner corner with that same color. And the neat thing about doing that is it makes your eye bigger because you're putting color beyond the edge of your eye. I think I want to go back with my multitasker and do a little bit of a better job here. Okay, that is the one side, and I'm going to go now and do the other eye to match them up, and then we will talk about how to finish the look. Okay, I think that the eyes are relatively done. I just need to do a brow bone highlight. And for that, I think I'm going to just use Breakaway, the lightest shade in the whole palette. I could use a different one, but I think that the look is deep enough that I'd like to just keep the brow bone pretty light. I'm going to pick a brush, and I think this is a Sephora brush from the Smoke Show, I think it was. So this one's a gray handle or wand, and you can see it's quite fluffy, but it gives me enough precision as well that I do like this kind of brush for brow bone highlight. And again, it's Breakaway. I'm going to put that on the brow bone. It looks quite nice. Let's do the other side. Okay, so we have the shadow done, and I want to do a few things. I want to put blush on and highlighter on from this palette, which is the Queen palette, the Fumi and Juvia's Place collaboration, to get rid of the plastic. And I'm thinking for this look that I want to use this blush. Hopefully you can see the colors. This blush and this highlighter, and actually I could have used that highlighter as the brow bone highlight, and I think I'm going to add a little bit more just to tie it all in. So I'm going to go back to that fluffy brush, and I'm going to put, it's called FDV Approved, and it's basically Fumi Approved, which I think is cute. And we're going to go in, not with a whole lot, and just go over. I'm hoping there's a mirror here, but there isn't. So I'm just going to use the mirror underneath the camera and just do a little extra. It'll be nice to tie the highlighter on my cheekbones to the look that I'm doing here. As a matter of fact, this would have been a very nice inner corner highlight as well. And now we're going to go into the blush, which is Sister to Sister. And this can be an eyeshadow and face palette. You can use it for both. I have not yet used it for eyeshadow, but I can tell you that that purple is screaming my name. All right, what am I going to use? I think I'm going to use this Smashbox blush brush. I do really like it. It is the Smashbox Buildable Cheek, and it has two spots for the fingers. It has the more precision side and then the fluffier side, and I'm definitely going to use the lower position because I don't want the blush to be too pigmented, and it is a blush palette for women of color. That was the intention originally. So I want to make sure that I don't go overboard because I would expect it to be pigmented. So I'm going to go back to where I have a mirror, which is the Born to Run palette, and I'm going to try to apply this blush without making a mess. So let's see. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to put just a tad more. I'm definitely tapping it off before putting it on. Okay, I don't mind at all. I'm going to do the other side as well. It's always nerve-wracking when you use a new blush because, well, you can fix it with reapplying foundation or powder or whatever to diffuse it, but I just feel like I'm committed. Okay, and again, I'm putting the bulk of the blush right here, and whatever's left I tend to bring the brush when there's almost no product more toward my nose, but I really want most of it to be right here, and I think I have been successful. Now I want to go into the highlighter, and I need to be very careful because it's more of a golden color and I'm quite a bit more fair than what would usually be required for a gold highlighter, although I like champagne pop, so I could be totally wrong about this blush because it's gold but it's not super deep, but I'm going to be careful nonetheless, and I'm going to use a very fluffy brush, and this is a Sephora Pro brush. It's a Sephora Pro brush, and it is called the Pro Featherweight Blending, and the idea with this is it's a highlighter brush that I'm going to use dipping just a tiny bit into the pan, and hopefully it won't pick up too much product. So here's what I have, tapping it off slightly. There's still quite a bit of product on, and let's see what happens. Okay, that's nice. It's not too much. So we'll do the same thing, tap it off, and go and try to put the highlighter on the other side, right on my cheekbone. Not bad at all. And I don't have very much left, if anything, but whatever I have left, I'm just going to go on my nose. And it's really not going to be very much, which it is not, which is fine. Okay, so done with this palette. Done with this palette, I think. Yeah, I'm going to do liner for the rest, but am I even? I think I need just a tiny bit more with this Morphe brush to go in on the inner lid, on the lower lid. Yeah, it was just a little bit thicker on this side than this side of a line. I think we're ready for liner and mascara and all the good stuff that comes with it. And I did do some sleuthing before the video, so I think I know what I want to use. So let me show you the products. I selected a number of liners from Urban Decay that I thought would look good. And I feel like because there's so much green and whatnot already going on the lower lid that I'm going to use Roach. Let's just see what it looks like. Yeah, I'm going to use Roach on the waterline and lash line. I think that that's going to look good, so I'm going to use that one. Although Stash might be nice. I don't know, let's see, is Stash deeper? Oh boy. Oh boy. I don't know which one to use. I might regret it, but I'm going to use Roach because I just used Stash in another look, so hopefully this one will not do me wrong. And then we have a few more products. I'm going to be using the Clinique Pretty Easy liner. I've used it once so far and I've been impressed. And then I'm going to top it off with the Black 01, what's it called? High Impact Mascara from Clinique, and I don't think that it's high impact, to be quite frank. but it could be because it's too liquid. I've just used it once, so maybe it needs to dry out a little bit. So I'm going to go and apply all these good things, plus reapply the Urban Decay Zero liner. I will give you a swatch of that. Actually, I should show you the swatch of the Clinique liner as well. And the Clinique liner is very, very thin, fine point. All right, so here we go. So that is the Zero, and that is the Clinique liner, right? Look at the precision. I'm going to go do all of those things, plus add a lipstick, and I might as well do a swatch of all three lipsticks to figure out which one I'm going to put on. So the first one I have here is 1993, which is definitely a favorite of mine. So it's a beautiful color. So that's what it looks like, 1993, and I thought it would look really good with the crease color. All of these are actually based on the crease color. Now this one as well I love, which is the liquid color from Urban Decay, and it's a very sheer lipstick. Oh, I'm really liking this one. Let's see. It's a very pretty color. It looks a lot better on the lips. It's a very sheer formula. And then the last one is a newer one to my collection, which is Accident. Newer, like as in the last year, I think. So those are the three. I'm actually drawn to this one. This is Accident, so I think that I'm going to go for this one. All right, let me go do all of those good things and use some all-nighter setting spray, and I will be right back. Okay, this is the final look. Just a quick recap on all the products that I used off camera. So let's talk about these. I did end up using Roach on my lower waterline lash line. It did get a little bit lost in with the other colors, but I still think it was probably the better pencil to use, or glide on pencil. I also used the Zero to refresh my upper waterline. I used the Clinique Pretty Easy, what did they call it? Liquid eyelining pen. And I did do a wing on each side, but I botched them. So we're not going to talk about them anymore. I just did not have it in me to start them over. So I'm just going to wear these all day. I am at home and I'm fine with it. And I may do one or two more videos, so you'll have to, if you watch them, you'll just have to suck it up. They're not great. And then finally, two more products. I've got the mascara, which is the Clinique, as I said, high impact mascara that is not that high of an impact. And I did 3 coats on both sides. I was going to say both sets of lashes. I only have one set. But I think it's okay, but you have to be patient. You have to let it dry, put another coat. But again, it could be because it's brand new, only the second time using it. And I'm missing one. Yeah, it was right behind the camera, which is why I didn't see it. And it is the Accident Metallized lipstick from Urban Decay. Most of the products I used today on my eyes and lips were Urban Decay. And I'm missing something. Oh yeah, duh, the setting spray I told you I was going to use. So that is it for the look today and for my first impressions of the Born to Run palette. Given that I'm using the 3 shadows out of the whole palette that I was the absolute least jazzed about for a trio, I would call this quite a success. Again, I used these 3 and I ended up using Breakaway on the brow bone and Weekender to set my eye primer at the very beginning. I am looking forward to doing some more looks for sure with this palette. I think that the eyeshadows performed really well. They were easy to apply. There was only patchiness. If you watch the sped up version of this eye, I had the same problem in my last look, which is that there was a right in my crease, a fold where the eyeshadow would not stick, and it seems to have nothing to do with the brand. It's just, I think that when I start a look and I want to do one eye and then the other one, that I still have to do the crease matte color, transition color, whatever you want to call it. I need to do it on both eyes because I think I wait too long and the eye primer eats up whatever I set it with, and I get that weird line again. And this is a new issue. It was never an issue even last week, so I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm just going to change what I do a little bit to see if I can avoid that problem. But I don't think it has anything to do with palette. I think it's just something that's going on for me, and maybe it has to do with the eye primer choice I'm making. We'll see. I'll try different things. But yeah, I really do like this palette. I like how robust it is. It feels, I feel confident having it in my hand, and the color scheme is super approachable. I think that most of us would be comfortable with most of the colors in this palette, especially if we're not super scared of colors, although there's nothing super bright or kind of in your face in this palette as far as I'm concerned, except for the one I talked about earlier, which is this one that I'm not a super big fan of. So yeah, I like the palette. I like the look I came up with, and let me know what you think in the comments. And do you have another trio of colors that you would like me to use sooner than later? Just let me know. Let's go with this being the first column all the way to the end here, which is the one I used today. Sound okay? All right. Thank you so much for watching this first impressions using the Born to Run palette. I appreciate it very much. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. But for now, take care.